Hey everybody, welcome to yet another awesome Showami webinar. We're going to be talking about video marketing with Stacie Duffy. Now, if you're like sitting here going, why the heck should I be listening to Stacie? She's a rock star when it comes to video. She does all kinds of video on different platforms, different messaging, and she does it while only working a 30-hour work week. Now, that's where I always tell people, I'm like, look, you want somebody to come speak, you want somebody who's actually doing what they're talking about. This isn't a coach. This is truly an agent that is a rock star out of just south of Denver, Colorado. Stacie, say hi to everybody.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to talk about it.
Yes. Oh, I also forgot to mention, she does this with 2 toddlers at home. So
Yeah.
she is rockstar mom, rockstar video content. I am excited for us to dive in. If at any point you have any questions during our webinar, please shoot them in the chat. The reason why we have these is because they want to be as interactive as possible. So if we say something that you're like, hey, whoa, pause, which is true, Stacie and I can go very fast, very quickly, and
Yes.
have a lot of fun doing so. So please let us know if there's something that we may be able to expand on to help your, your business grow all over. So let's jump right on in. First, let's start with goal setting with videos. So what's
Yeah.
your plan of action?
And thank you for the caveat. I tell people, and if you've watched any of my videos, I talk really fast. I want to add a lot of value. So as I tell everybody, please don't feel bad. Put something in the chat, interrupt. I want to make sure that you're getting the value that you need out of this. So for me, it really starts with what's your goal of video, right? Because I have a lot of people ask me, oh my gosh, you do so much video and you put it on all these platforms. There's so many different potential goals with video. I really break it down, and I'm going to refer to my notes because I just ramble without them. But I usually break it down to 4 different things, and everybody tries to do everything with video. Just like if you're trying to be the agent for everybody in every single market, you're not going to do it well. So don't try to be amazing at everything. So what I usually break it down to is for the goal, are you just really trying to build your brand and bring awareness to that? So I refer it to like Coke or Nike. It's, hey, if you see a red, a Coke bottle with a red label on it, you don't even need a name. You know who that is. So that's one potential goal, right? Another one is leads. Are you looking to get people to call you to buy or sell? If so, that takes a different video strategy and posting in different places. And we'll talk about that too. Third thing that I really like a lot of video for is relationships and staying in flow and in touch with your database. So it's another way to have a touch, to be top of mind, to be front and center in front of the people that you already know and that already like you and trust you. Or 4, are you trying to build a library and have some sort of SEO play? And there's advantages and disadvantages to that too. So it really comes down to, I would say, look at those 4 goals and say, hey, if I had to pick 1 or maybe 2, where am I trying to go? Because if you're like, I want to do all those, cool. Unless you have a full video content creation team that works on that for you, that you pay an arm and a leg for, it's not realistic. So we're going to start there.
I love it. Yeah, you're totally right. If you try to hit all 4, you better have somebody following you with a camera like 24/7, and that gets expensive.
For sure. So once you really go through your goal, and just to kind of step back, I'm going to go through some topics. If y'all have questions, jump out and ask. I'm going to leave a decent chunk of time for Q&A, and I also have some more nitty-gritty detail if we want to get to that. And then at the end, I'm going to talk about a couple of my favorite tools. Honestly, one tool that I really like that really helps me streamline a lot of my video distribution. So I'll talk about that at the end when we actually talk about like execution and how to make it work. As far as how to make it practical for, I don't know, somebody who actually has a life and tries to sell houses, right? But another thing I like to talk about is confidence. A lot of people have well, I don't want to shoot video because I didn't put my makeup on or my hair, or I wore the same thing, or I don't want to batch shoot, or it's some sort of confidence issue. And if anybody listens to Gary Vee, I'm a huge fan of his. One thing he always talks about, so a lot of what I talk about is probably going to be things that you've heard from him if you listen to him, but people know what you look like. If you're going to go sell them a house, you're probably going to have to show up in person, and they're going to know what you look like. So by showing up in your videos, how you look every day, don't feel like, oh, I don't feel good enough to do that. That's how you show up in your business in front of your clients. And by showing up that way in your videos, you are building trust with those people. So when they see you in person and it's the same person they've already seen with, you know, your hair tied up, some days you're wearing sweats because you know, picking up your kids or doing whatever, like however you do your business is how you can do your videos, because that builds trust with the people who see them. And so when they see you in person, they've already seen all your videos that way. You have a huge trust bump just from being the person they thought you were. So talk to yourself in the mirror, shoot a bunch of videos. I always tell people your first 10 videos are going to suck. Like they just will. So, and I look at my first videos and I'm like, oh my God, those were terrible. What was I doing? Right. But you have to get over that bump. And it's, if you're willing to show up and show a house to a client or do a listing appointment, then you look good enough to do video because that's how you do business. So I'm probably not the normal person. Like I grew up as a kid staring at myself in the mirror and like talking to myself. So I'm like, this is probably a perfect avenue for me as an adult. But I just know that for so many people that I work with, they get hung up on that. And I'm like, guys, they're going to see you. They're going to hear you. You know, they're going to know what you look like and sound like. So as long as you don't smell funny, you're probably good.
I think that's a really good point. Like if you're going to show up to an open house, you better look and sound the same. And the same person is showing up to both. So getting on camera is just as, you know, important as being at an open house and presenting yourself that way.
Definitely. And so some people, when they talk about shooting videos and shooting content, they're like, well, you know, batch shooting is a big thing. And if you don't know what batch shooting is, it's pretty much, hey, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to shoot a bunch of different videos so I can clip them up into little pieces and use them for the next month, 2 months, whatever, right? It's a very efficient way of recording content. One thing that is really, and for men, I think it's a little bit easier because they'll say, okay, bring, you know, wear a shirt and bring like 2 ties and 3 blazers. And then you can make, you know, however many outfits out of that. And women are like, cool. Well, my hair is going to be the same. My shirt, like, fine. Maybe it doesn't quite work as well. And we get more self-conscious about it than most people. I took a really easy road for a lot of different reasons, but I have an all black wardrobe. I started it a little over a year ago. All my professional clothes are just all black. And honestly, it's because I have kids and a life and it just makes things simple. It's less decisions to make every morning. But I have noticed that for my videos, I don't have to worry about, did I batch shoot that day? Am I posting too much? Like, did I already post 6 videos in that outfit? Because everything I wear looks the same. Some have a collar, some don't. You know, sometimes I wear an ankle, some don't. And other people, if they notice those things or care about those things, they probably don't have enough other things in their life to care about for you to really want to work with them. So, you know, don't judge yourself on that. Like, give yourself a little grace and don't find reasons not to do it. And I find that that is something that a lot of people say from the confidence piece or the batch shooting piece of, well, I don't have time. I can't batch shoot because then I have to change. It's so hard. Fine. Show up how you're going to show up to work. Shoot it before your appointments. There's lots of different ways to fit it into your life. But stop finding reasons not to do it. Find ways to get it to fit it into what you're already doing.
Yeah. I love the batch shooting concept because I've done it before. Just sat down an hour. And as you said, I had 2 shirts and always the orange jacket, but I just sat there and, you know, hammered it out for a while. And it flows so nicely. Once you've got the first 2 done, and they can be, the first one's absolute crap. I always delete my first one. And then after the second one, it just continues to clean up from there. It makes things so smooth and so easy. But I've also found, as I bet you're about to talk about, live shooting every so often. Honestly, it's, if something comes to mind, I just grab the camera and just go for it. Take 30 seconds and I don't care how it looks.
Yeah. And that's especially depending on what your goal is with the video, right? We talked about those 4 goals. So if your goal is just awareness, top of mind, you know, if you want a brand awareness, if you want the stay in flow with your people and you're going to post it on your Instagram stories or something like that, and it's going to disappear in a day anyway, then don't let all of the formality and the lighting and the sound and all this crap be the reason you don't get it done. So stop, shoot a video right away. And we'll talk about content creation, like what to shoot a little bit, but I mean, 9 times I keep a little list of videos, you know, to shoot. But when I think of something, I'm like, damn, that's a good video. Like, let's just shoot that right now. And, you know, the whole posting it is a different thing. So I use my hands a lot and I'm not used to having a mic. So I got to get used to that. Normally I wear it, but we talked about that before. I wear my mic, but that battery wasn't charged today. So don't let those things get in your way, and just snap it real quick, record it, get it down, because that becomes tools for your business to use later.
Mhm.
And a lot of times that's the best content too, is that stuff you think top of mind and you're like, oh, hey, somebody asked me that question. That's a great question. And that will be your thing that gets so much more traffic that you never would have thought of.
You're one client who asks a question, you've got 10 other clients trying to ask the same question but are afraid to do so. I always go in with that mindset. If somebody's asking it, I bet you there's 10 other people that I know that are asking the exact same question. And if I can get it in front of them, just a quick answer, they will just thank me later for it.
Yep, absolutely. And it's surprising with those stay in flow with your database videos that you post, because those are the ones that people will call me or shoot me a Facebook message or an Instagram message or whatever and say, oh my gosh, I totally was having that issue last week. Thank you so much, because I didn't want to bother you. And I never would have thought to call you about that. But of course, you know about that, So it's those little things like that just, it continues to paint you as an expert, as a resource, as an authority in the field, and broadens what people think of you for. Not just, hey, I need to buy your house or sell a house. It's, hey, my garage door broke. Who do I call? And most people don't think call their realtor, but the ones that you have continually made content about, hey, it's, like right now in South or in the Denver area, we're having our really hard freezes, like our first hard freezes for the year coming in the next couple of days. So I'm going to be posting videos about sprinklers because we're blowing out sprinklers on 3 properties today. Yeah. Hey guys, you got to remember to do this. And then people remember like, oh my gosh, I have a home question. Let me call Stacie, instead of, hey, I need to sell a house or buy a house. Let me call my realtor. So it's really good for that kind of stuff. For as far as content, you can go so many different ways with them.
And I gotta say, like, if you do watch Stacie's content, you'll see exactly what she's talking about. She'll take anything that somebody asked in a home, whether they hired from outside and we're doing new flooring. I saw the flooring post came out today. And and staging questions, even as simple as towels, which she went over just a couple days ago. I love that you take it and you're like, hey, look, if you're really curious about this, this is how you do it. And you establish yourself. I love, my number one thing is be the expert, be the expert, be the expert. And part of that is because for an SEO purpose, you need it. As far as your, social media, SEO, everything like that. If you're the expert, if you always talk on these subjects, your stuff is going to grow way, way stronger and way, way further than you could have imagined. But you have to establish, like you said, that expertise level. Love it.
For sure.
Love it.
And that, as far as the type of content growing and attracting people, that it really brings me to that next point of for your reach, right? So when you're looking at your goals and you're saying, hey, I want to stay in contact with my sphere, those are the people that I want to reach. That really, your goals determines what your platforms are going to be. Mm-hmm. Because I think too many people just do a pray and spray approach, right? Shotgun approach. I want to be everybody, all the video to all the people, to all the platforms, to all these things. You can do that, but you get what you put out there. And so there's riches and niches, right? Like a lot of people say that as far as, and a lot of agents understand that is like, hey, I am the go-to, farm and ranch for this part of town agent. I am the go-to, technical agent. I am the go-to for this neighborhood, whatever you want to, format yourself or market yourself as a niche authority or niche expert in. Because when you become that expert, then it's like, well, why would I call anybody else? She's the person for that, or he's the person for that. And so your reach really is based on what are you trying to target? Don't try to be all things to all people, because one, you're going to burn yourself out. You're going to kind of half-ass it. It's going to suck, and you're not going to be happy with the result. But then you're not going to get consistent results. And so you can't tell what's working, what's not, and where do you want to spend your time? So when I talk about platforms, because that's a question that I get all the time, is, well, hey, do I want to go on Instagram. Cool. Are you on Instagram right now? Well, yeah, I have an Instagram account. No. I mean, 10 o'clock at night, are you sitting on Insta and scrolling for an hour and a half and checking out how your grid looks? Because the answer is no. You probably don't understand the culture of the platform. And every platform has its own culture. Every platform has its own judgment, I'll say, as far as what's successful, what's not. And I usually tell people start with the platform that you are already on and understand. So do you spend 3 hours a week on Facebook? And then you maybe check Instagram once every couple of weeks and you're like, yeah, I've heard of this TikTok thing, but I've never been on it. Or like someone showed me some, or I have an account, but I don't look at it. Then don't try to go on TikTok and do dances and crap. Like you don't understand the platform enough to really be successful with that. Start with the platform you know you use, because chances are whatever platform you use is where your audience is. Those are the people that you're trying to reach, right?
Mhm.
If you're going for leads, that's a totally different strategy, and you need to target that strategy. And in that case, you go where the attention is. Wherever there's more people looking at it, then that's a different lead play. But you have to have different content and different things that attract and can get in front of those people. So I usually say, don't make it harder than it needs to be. Start where you already are. I'm a big fan of working your sphere. And honestly, those are my two biggest lead sources for my business is my sphere. So past client referrals and the people I know, as well as I have a long-term YouTube strategy. Like I go for the library and the SEO play. I like that. It's fun for me to do. We'll talk more about like what type of content and that kind of stuff to do, because that's going to determine whether you keep up with it.
Yep.
But I mean, your Facebook stories, your Instagram stories, you know, your Facebook reels, whatever you want to do, wherever your audience is, start there.
Keep in mind, YouTube is a long-term strategy. Unfortunately, it's not something that tomorrow you can create one video and just get thousands and thousands of views.
Yep.
It is incredible for your SEO. And in my opinion, it is the most secure in your long-term strategies. It's the only one that I know for sure is not going away. Like
Right.
there's the strategy behind it and the way that it works out is great. Now, what kind of videos, Stacie, are you seeing like for YouTube that would gain the most amount of leads?
Yeah. So as far as for a lead strategy, there's a couple different ways that you can go. And some of this goes into what you post, the content that you post, because content will determine how popular it is, how many people see it, because it's all about the algorithms. And what do algorithms do? Show people what they want to see. Right? And so you have to understand, what do people want to see? What are they searching for? What has mass appeal? I am not the agent that likes to shoot viral videos because I hate editing. I'll throw it out there. I do as little editing as possible. But do people want to watch me ramble for an hour? No. Okay, then I'm not going to get mass appeal. I am okay with that. But when you're talking about, if you want a little bit more targeted leads, because that's what I do, is my content draws a certain type of client looking for a certain need or a certain niche to fulfill. And that's where your SEO is going to have long-term play, right? So YouTube is a library. It is a video Google. And that is where a lot of my views come from on YouTube, is people searching for very specific things. And I will tell you, I started YouTube back in 2017. And if I were starting it again today for leads, I would do it totally different. I would do what a lot of agents that are starting YouTube now are doing, which is hey, living in South Denver, living in Highlands Ranch, living in, Chicago, whatever area you're in, because that's what people do when they're moving to a new area, is they go search about that area. What neighborhood do I go to? Like, what's the school district I need to live in? What are the houses like? What's the culture like? Because people buy lifestyle, right? And we all know that as agents. We know that it's not the 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage house. It's, I want the lifestyle. I want a yard for my family because we live in Colorado and it's gorgeous outside, and I want to have an outdoor living space. Cool. Okay. I want to be 30 minutes from the mountains, or I want to be 20 minutes to the beach, wherever you are. So that's what will draw in a lot of leads. And that works wonderful for some agents. One thing I am is very self-aware of my limitations. So I tend to target my business towards my strengths or hire my weaknesses as far as assistants and transaction coordinators. So I am not a great lead person, right? I don't follow up terribly well. I don't put them in a follow-up boss and have 17 scheduled follow-ups and all of this stuff. I'm very personal. I'm very one-on-one, and I attract a certain type of client. So my YouTube content, albeit very SEO based, doesn't attract the hey, moving to Highlands Ranch, here's all the cool things to check out. Mine attracts yeah, there's some Denver stuff, but I want somebody who knows what they're doing
I
because
love
I've gotten burned before. So I
it.
want a good agent in the area. I don't need somebody that can tell me the stats of a neighborhood. I need somebody that can make sure I'm not going to buy a crappy house and make sure I'm not going to make a mistake. So most of my clients have gone through that bad experience, or they had a bad agent, or they're looking for something specific. And that's what I love, because by the time people call me off of YouTube, they're like, you know, all the things our last agent didn't. We know you, we love you, we trust you. Are you taking new clients? Like, it's not a, hey, can you help me? It's a, are you taking new clients?
Mm.
Wonderful question to get.
That is awesome. I did share your YouTube. So everybody who is on here, if you want to see some of the content ideas that she has, we're going to share some of them here in the webinar. But I love, like, even, you know, bi-weekly mortgage payments. Talk about a video that is very likely to be searched. Like, could I do a bi-weekly mortgage payment? That's going to attract a completely different set of people, like Stacie said, then, and I'm going to use the Highlands Ranch, you know, what to do in Highlands Ranch. And I think there's, like you said, both strategies work. It depends on who you're trying to attract. Are you trying to attract people moving into your neighborhood, or are you trying to attract somebody who wants to learn more about buying houses, and some nuggets that maybe they're like, oh, I didn't really think about that element of the buying process. I love it, because it's true. I've seen both strategies work. I've got clients that will, in my area in Naples, Florida, what they do is they go to every community and they do videos about every single community. Then what's next? Oh, here's my top 5 restaurants. Here's the beaches here. They sort of bring the experience of the area. And if you're looking for those sort of leads about the experience of the area, perfect setup. All right,
Yeah.
leads for listings. And oh
Cool.
gosh, this is going to get fun, because this is
I
kind of
like that.
along what we were talking about earlier
Yep.
with staging advice and different things like that. Love it. Go ahead. Take it away,
Yeah,
Stacie. You got
absolutely.
this one.
Because I like to talk process, right? That's what I'm passionate about. And I personally, I know, and that's the bad thing in the industry, is nobody's going to tell us we do or don't have to do something, right? Unless it's transactional, contractual, to meet an obligation for a client, whatever. If somebody, you know, if I'm like, I don't want to go knock on doors, guess what? I don't have to. So I'm not going to go shoot videos on things I don't want to shoot videos on. I don't like editing. I don't like B-roll. I don't like search, or I don't like shooting moving to Centennial, Colorado videos. So I like talking process and educating people. I learned after shooting video that was very buyer process based that I was like, crap, this is great, but I'm getting a lot of buyer leads. I need some seller leads. So a lot of times, like, honestly, my top 2 YouTube videos, or what I get the most traction on, and that I've gotten listings or referrals off of, is title issues, what the title company does. A lot of times, because the only people that search that are either the people that just went through a bad experience, or they've been through one before and they want to know, 1, what they're paying for, and 2, somebody that knows what the hell they're talking about. Or, you know, and another one that I've done is why not to put your children on your deed? Well, most time people are looking at that because they're in a probate situation, or they're trying to advise their parents on, you know, writing their wills or whatever. There's something there related to property that they want to know more about. So something related to what sellers have to worry about. Another one of my top ones that I've gotten listings off of is staging bed. Like, I'm starting to put more of my staging stuff out there, because I'm like, I'm not a stager, but here's what I do for my sellers. And a lot of those sellers, nobody wants to pay a stager. Like, even your sellers, you're like, hey, you need to have it staged. Nobody's like, cool, tell me where, I'll write the check for $4,000, right? Nobody's excited to do that. So everybody wants to try to see, how can I do this myself? How can I save a little bit of money? How can I do this? How can I do that? And so that's what I'm starting to put out there more, because 1, it's pretty houses and people like to see pretty houses and how things are done. 2, it communicates my value as a listing agent. What do I bring to the table? How can I help you get more money for your house without just asking you to write another check? And then 3, by the time I get there, they're like, oh, I already bought the bed that you said. I already bought the mattress. I already bought this. I got the curtain. I did everything you said. And I'm like, this is awesome. I don't have to tell you what to do, because you just watched it. And I just walk in and we sign and we go from there. And so that, for me, has been very helpful for getting more seller business. Now, it's a longer term play, right? Because sellers are always a longer term play, because buyers are going to search for buying 6 to 9 to 12 months out. Sellers are going to search about selling probably 2 to 3 years out. because they're like, hey, I don't know what's going on unless it's a reload situation.
Mhm.
So your content will definitely determine your audience and who it attracts when you're looking specifically for leads. But like I said, that's not the majority of what I do my video for, but that's part of what it brings me. And that's what I like about it is I shoot what I'm passionate about. I shoot what my clients see as value that they tell me, they're like, nobody else has done this for me. And that's why I love you. And I'm so glad I found you on YouTube
Mhm.
because I've never been able to do this so easily. So I'm like, hey, note to myself, write it down. This was a major value add for a client. I need to communicate that value via video because if they found it valuable, other people will too.
I love it. I absolutely love it. All right. So
Cool.
what do we got next is, wow. First of all, that was awesome. We've now got so much content about lead generation. Mike, I hope this was super helpful to you. There's so many great, like I said, Stacie has so much great content, and you can kind of pick and choose certain things that fit your market best. Absolutely. And different videos that fit your style. Keep in mind that people like who they like. So certain people will and will not like you. I had a hater for a long time, and it actually made me better over time. So I had a person literally dislike every video. It is totally fine.
Oh,
It's my favorite because it just means it's probably a competitor that's jealous.
well, and that's the thing
Like that's
I mean, who really, I mean, we're all busy people, right?
yeah, who has the
I don't
time
know
to
about
go
you.
back and do that?
Who has the time to go back and be a hater? And it's like, I
I
feel bad
love
for
it.
those people. I feel bad that they don't have enough going on in their life that is how they feel is valuable to spend the time. So I don't delete most of those unless they are like spam or explicit or honestly something that I'm like, hey, that's a court issue. We're going to make
Yeah.
sure that's not visible in
Yeah.
public. I just leave them up there because honestly, it kind of it boosts the algorithm. People are leaving comments on my stuff. I don't care if they don't like it. And sometimes I'll do a snarky response because I'm not really, that's who I am. And that's who I
Yeah.
am in person. And I'm okay being that authentic person online as long as it's not something someone's going to take me to court for. So I try to stay out of court. That's my goal.
I think we all try to stay out of court.
Right? It's getting increasingly difficult now, but with
Oh
the
my
internet.
gosh. All right. So now we're kind of shifting out of the reach and into the how and gear section. So how are we shooting these videos? What gear are we using?
Yeah. So as far as the how, I think, and this goes to content a little bit, that I'm gonna stray a little bit, but I think so many people get hung up on, well, what do I talk about?
Mm.
Guys, talk about what you do every day. Don't try to create, document. So you're doing 5, 6, 7 hours of work a day, whatever you're doing. Sorry, 5, 6. As I say, I don't work as much as I used to now, which is pretty nice. I appreciate that my business mix has allowed me to work less and have a life and balance, because that's really the big thing for me. But whatever you're doing, chances are, one, people don't know you're doing it. Two, they find it cool because everybody thinks that we just live some HGTV life of like showing, $5 million houses, and that we, sell one house and then we're set for the year, which is bull. We all know that. So it gives them context. It sells your value, but all the things that you're doing for one person, like we talked about before, other people have the same question. They want to know the same answers. And so don't worry about creating content, just document what you're doing. Whatever you would have a phone conversation with your clients, stopping in on a listing just to make sure somebody didn't leave the lights on. I had one last week, someone left the fireplace on for 3 days. I was like, awesome. That's great. So, right. And so I got to tell my seller. And so I'm like, okay, I shot a little short video on that. I'll post it here in a couple of weeks of, just FYI, these things happen. That's another reason I stop in on my vacant properties once a week. Does somebody who knows me but has never sold a property with me know that? No. Now they do. Now they're like, okay, well, if I call Stacie to sell my house, I don't have to worry about nobody being in my house if I'm not in state, right? So all those little things add up. So don't worry about, let me go come up with a million things. Sure, you can go to Answer the Public and research stuff. And for the SEO play, a lot of that matters a little bit more, but just document what you're already doing, because especially with everything going on in the industry, communicating to people what your value is such an easy thing to do when you're doing it. It is hard to do later when you have to figure it out and how to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the how, my phone, I don't have some fancy expensive camera. I have bought some. I find I don't use them. So what's the thing I always have with me, because in this industry we would die if we didn't have it physically attached to us, is our phone. All the cameras on the phones nowadays, even if you buy like the cheapest, crappiest phone out there, it's going to have a camera good enough to do this. The audio and lighting are probably the two big things that just like if you're watching a video and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't watch this, it's probably because the audio is terrible or the lighting looks really rough, or you don't care about it. You can't control whether or not people care about it. You can control what you're putting out there to attract the audience that does care. But make sure your lighting and your audio are as good as they can be for what's reasonable. Don't shoot outside in the wind with your phone 10 feet away and no microphone. You will find out very quickly that that sucks to watch. And if you can't, here's a good rule. If you can't watch it yourself, like if you can't watch yourself on a 30-second video, no one else is going to watch it. Sorry, like it's just, there's some videos
that's how it is.
I mean,
I agree. Just like when you record a concert, right? You're not going to go back and listen to that concert recording, but we all are guilty of doing it at some point in time. He's saying my favorite song. I've got a video of it. It's like, oh, this is what it sounds like on my phone.
It sounds terrible. And the light show that I recorded on my phone looks like garbage. Well, imagine that. So what are you going to do? You're going to go to YouTube and you're going to look it up if you ever want to watch it again because somebody else recorded it better. Right.
Yeah, because the lasers get point right at your camera. So again, it's just about not even just having the right equipment. I think a lapel mic is a must, especially.
Yes.
And getting in the right location. Coffee shops, awesome. They're great. Just not outside in the windy day. I completely agree.
If you're gonna feel awkward about shooting a video and people staring at you and that's what you're worried about, get in the right place, right? So, but I mean, to be honest, I'm in my office, and just as a lighting example, I don't have the lights on in this office because they're fluorescent. They go top down and they throw a shadow and they look terrible. A cheap ring light, a light that you want to bounce off of the wall. I have literally used a light bulb, like a desk lamp with a paper plate rubber banded to it as a diffuser. I mean, you can get really creative. I'm cheap, guys. Like you can get really creative with stuff, and there's all kinds of kits and things that you can buy, but a good camera, like just your phone. And for those that want to shoot them outside, or I shoot a ton of stuff in my car. I have a little sticky mount on my windshield that I can clip my phone into just so I don't have to hold it. I always park facing north. Because that doesn't get me direct shadows. It gives me soft diffuse light if I'm outside. So just my little tidbit, if you want to shoot in your car, try to face north or northeast, you'll get some diffused light, especially later in the day. And you don't get the shadows off the visor or the sun coming in from the west side or whatever. So just be cognizant of your lighting. If you're not sure what lighting is good, literally hold up your phone and turn in a circle and look at yourself on your phone until you're like, ooh, that's the good spot. Okay, if you look up, there's probably light shooting towards your face. So try to face some light. Like in this office that is, the overhead lights are turned off. I have a ring light behind, and then I have a lamp behind me just to give some depth. So you can watch some, quick YouTube videos on lighting if you really care. Having some sort of supplemental light is helpful, but certainly don't feel like you have to have some giant setup. I shoot what's easy, what's convenient. I don't let those be the barrier to me executing the video. So even if the lighting sucks, shoot it, get it up. If it's like my staging bed video, which is like my second most popular video on YouTube, has absolutely atrocious lighting. I was in a basement with CFL lights, and I had the phone sitting on the closet shelf and no microphone. Is it popular? Yes. Do I get listings off of it? Yes. So if the content is valuable, people will put up with the other stuff. But if you can improve those things a little bit, it makes a big difference.
And the audio, that's also nice amount of SEO was put into that video. So please take the time to carefully craft the description of your video, the title, and the thumbnail.
Yeah, it definitely makes a big difference. Your thumbnail is your attention getter. It's the cover of your book. There's a lot of things there that you can really dig into that will help you and will help the success of it. So it just depends on where you want to spread that time, right? For the SEO stuff, I'm a big fan of TubeBuddy. I use TubeBuddy on my YouTube channel. There's TubeBuddy and vidIQ. Those were a couple of add-on tools that if you're looking for keyword research, that's what I really like about TubeBuddy is when I go to post a video, they have recommended tags, they have a keyword explorer that I can go in and put in my title. And I was like, oh crap, there's a ton of videos with that name. Let me see if I can niche down a little bit and do a better search title that's going to get better rankings because nobody else has named their video that. And that's really what mine's about. So that's a really easy tool for me to kind of optimize those without getting down in a SEO search rabbit hole.
I have not heard of TubeBuddy. I have
Oh,
always heard Rank IQ, and I've used Rank IQ. Same difference. If you guys have used Rank IQ in the past, they're similar companies, but I had never heard of TubeBuddy. So now I'm checking that out myself because I love a good SEO tool. So
yeah, I mean, they all do the same thing, right? They're all just trying to make a lot of data accessible.
Yes.
So that however you want to do that. And I'll talk about another tool that I use for my short form distribution at the end, as far as how to, you know, shoot a video and get it on multiple platforms really quickly. I'm a huge fan of that.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of tools out there. So, I mean, for the gear, as long as you have a phone or something that you can record on, I will say if you are recording on your phone a lot, I only buy phones that have an SD card slot for storage. I don't like paying for cloud storage, especially when I'm going to shoot videos, delete them, shoot videos, delete them. So that is one issue that I have run into being a rambling video shooter. Just throwing it out there. If your goal and your platform and your reach is short form, cool, you probably don't have a problem. But when you sit and ramble for 10 minutes about HOA fees, like I do, because I'm passionate about weird things that attract very detailed clients, then I fill up my video storage. So
yes, totally fine. Hey, and anyway, and I think a good question kind of leans into exactly what we're talking about is paying for editing. Yes, no. What's your take on this one? I talked to a bunch of different people. I hear different things. So I'm curious to hear your take on this one.
Absolutely. I am an 85% and done is better than never done at all person. So I realized, like I said, I'm pretty self-aware on what my barriers are to execution. And that, especially starting out, was my biggest barrier, hands down. I would have this whole list of videos that needed to be edited before they could get posted. And I was like, screw it, I'm just going to post them. Like, people are going to, if it's a 7 or 8 or 10 or even 2-minute video, people are going to skip through it anyway. So I'm going to let the world do that. And is it the best product I can put out? No. But will I ever get the best product done? No. So I'm going to do 85%. I don't edit videos. I have paid for editing a couple of times just as like, hey, let me throw it out there. At this point, I'm not willing to invest the money I need to invest to get it edited as well as I could to reach more people. Is it a high ROI investment? I think so. I could spend $100 a video and go out on, you know, Fiverr or Fiverr or whatever and have somebody edit that and put them up. But when I'm doing 2 videos a week, that is not in my current budget. And honestly, if I got, you know, 4 more leads next month for listing, like, I don't have the capacity to work that because I don't want to work 60 hours a week. I like my balance. So at this point, I don't pay for editing. The only editing that I'll even do is for my shorter videos on my phone with like a UCut or a CapCut type app. And even then, if I have to take more than 5 minutes to edit, I get mad and I just trash a video and I'll go shoot something else. So I'm not saying that that's the right way to do it. I'm just saying that's what I do because I hate editing and that's my barrier. So I'm going to shoot stuff that I can just sit there and talk, and then I can edit the first couple of seconds off because I know nobody wants to sit through that. I don't either. I can edit the last couple seconds off and I'm like, that was a waste. That was just me rambling. Let me cut that out. Done. Put some captions on it. Move on. That's my personal take. I am probably not the norm as far as that goes, but I think editing becomes the hang up for so many people because they want it to be perfect. And it's such a labor process and time suck to sit there and try to perfect a video that even if you have one perfect video, cool, the algorithm's going to say, you don't have 10 more. I'm not putting you in front of 100,000 people. So I'll do what I'm good at. I'll stick with that. And if I want to start paying somebody to make me look even better at it, great. But in the meantime, I'm a no.
I think to your point, it's when you're taking that next step. Like when you've already got great content, you've already done a good job establishing your brand. You've done a good job of attracting people to your pages, your YouTube, your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Instagram, Once those things are in place, once you've got the followership, then think about doing this. I think a lot of people, it's true. And I've seen so many people I talk to get hung up on the fact that it's got to be perfect every time I put it out there.
Yeah.
And the reality is, if you're creating a perfect video for 5 people, that's not as helpful, and you're spending money on things that you could be spending money on getting more leads, on other aspects. So definitely, I think it's something that if you are going to look at doing editing or hiring, like she said, on Fiverr, consider doing that later in your process. So like when you've already got an established brand and established clientele, and you just are like, hey, this is just going to escalate me 2 more deals a year, great, it'll pay for itself. But get to point A first, for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, we're big automotive race people. Like my husband and I have been to Formula One and stuff. And I equate it to, okay, stop trying to drive a Formula One car when you're like, I want to be a race car driver. Cool. Maybe like go to the driving strip on the weekends with what you have now, or like go kart. Start small, right? Don't feel like you have to spend the money and invest and be amazing before you start. It's not realistic.
Absolutely. Totally agree. All right. Now I know we're getting to everybody's favorite stuff, aside from, I think gear is always people's favorite. They like hearing the different things that we have. The next is, what the heck should I shoot? Give us like all right, here's 5, of my favorite short form. Let's do maybe 5 of long form.
Okay. I'm probably not going to be as prescriptive as people want, because I am not them. Everybody has their own expertise, their own niche, whatever you are good at. My big thing is start with your goals, right? Like we talked about. And at the very beginning, okay, what's your goal? If your goal is leads, then what are people searching, right? You need to find the people that are ready to buy, that are ready to sell. Everybody wants those people, and that is expensive and very hard to do. So either niche down and get really good at SEO, make amazing freaking content that gets in front of 1 million people, both of which are out of my reach. I'm just realistic. Like that's not what is fun for me, and I don't have the budget for that. So when I do SEO and I'm looking for leads, I'm looking for those people, like I said before, that have gotten burned before. They're looking for process, that are looking for detail. They're looking for, I want to know how this works before I start this, because that's my clientele. I niche to type A, analytical, technical, absolutely detail-oriented people. Those are the people that know and love me and sing my praises and become my raving fans and refer me business. So mine's a long game, right? So that's what I niche down for. But whatever you are trying to draw, if you are looking to be in front of your database more frequently, if you're looking to touch your sphere more frequently, then you're probably looking for short form to do Facebook and Instagram stories. Maybe you're looking at doing TikTok, but even TikTok is further than your sphere, right? Like that has a different reach, that has a more large scale appeal. TikTok in my mind is a little bit more brand awareness piece. TikTok and Instagram is a little bit more brand awareness. If you're trying to just, hey, whenever somebody thinks X, I want them to think me. That takes a lot of money, skill, and strategy, right? Mm-hmm. So, but going back to those goals, as far as really who are you trying to get to, that's going to determine what you're trying to get. The SEO piece, if your goal is SEO and is library and is search, YouTube, hands down, no ifs, ands, or buts, that's the place to go, because YouTube is the video Google. People are too lazy to read. They want to watch a 30-second YouTube short of how to be amazing at this one thing, right? So the closer you can get to getting that answer, I don't remember what it was. I was searching something earlier today, and the YouTube video was a 9-minute answer. I was like, all you had to do was say yes or no. Oh, it was like Amazon warranties on technical purchases. Like, is it worth paying for the Asurion warranty or whatever? And it's like, I don't need a clickbait 9-minute video. I need a yes or no, like, hey, it sucked and here's why, or hey, it was awesome and here's why. Done. So everybody's busy. The quicker you can answer someone's question, the more it will show in the algorithm, the more people will like it, the more it will be searched, and the more long-term or evergreen it will be. I like evergreen content. If I'm going to make a video and it's an SEO, it answers a question, I don't want it to be a question today. I want it to be a question forever. So I do market update videos, but only because I'm a nerd about them and I don't expect them to get a lot of views. I do stuff that people are going to ask now, 6 months from now, 4 years from now. Cool.
And a
So
good
go back to your
example of
goals.
that is your bi-weekly mortgage payments. Like I said, that's a question people are going to continue to ask 5, 10 years from now. Can I do this? And how does it work?
I never expected that one to get the traffic it
I
does. Seriously,
mean,
will have people call me and be
but I
like,
love that topic. I think it's brilliant. I think you
well,
did a great video. I think it's a brilliant idea and just the concept. I was like, oh, I actually don't know anything about bi-monthly mortgages. That's something I'd never thought of.
well, and
Oh,
it's
sorry,
something that I'm
bi-weekly,
sitting down.
bi-weekly. I said bi-monthly,
Yeah.
bi-weekly.
No worries.
Well, don't we all wish it was bi-monthly?
Well, and I'm sitting down at the closing table, and with every buyer at the closing table, that is something that I do is I sit and I ask the closer, I'm like, hey, when we get to the amortization table, don't just put it on the pile. I want to talk about it. I want to explain how your payments work, how you can pay your balance down faster, because my type A people want that information.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I know that that's a niche but I mean, all kinds of that stuff that just people ask the question all the time and we take it for granted that we're like, oh yeah, that I do that every day. Well, not everybody else knows that. I don't write, programming code every day. So I don't understand how that works. But if I need to know it, I'm going to go look for it. I'm like, oh, that's exactly what I needed.
Mm-hmm.
So really be aware of how evergreen your content is for SEO. Really, what's your goal? What audience are you trying to reach? And just document what you're doing and those questions that you're answering for people. And make sure that your platform and the type of content you're producing is attracting the people you're looking for based on your goal. Don't try to be everything to everybody. I can't say that enough. So
yeah, so the
one more
stuff that
thing.
Stacie posts on Facebook and Instagram, believe it or not, is completely different than her LinkedIn and her YouTube. Being somebody that is friends with her on all the platforms, I can tell you honestly. So her LinkedIn is very informative. As she says, she's got her market updates. Those happen on her LinkedIn profile. On her Facebook and stuff, it can be more personal. She actually does share more personal stuff about her 2 kids and their daily lives. So feel like you don't have to always be in work mode, or that your content can be shared different ways, and that the lifestyle that you want to presume or show, that's what you want to show on whichever platform.
Absolutely. And as far as the platform piece, like I try to leverage the content, right? Because if I'm shooting a video, I want it to be out to as many audiences as I can. I'm already shooting and I'm already doing the hard work. So, and I'll go ahead and share the nugget now because I know we only have a few minutes left and we can do some Q&A. But I am a huge fan of repurpose.io. So I have, I know Josh in the chat can put a link, but I have a little bit.ly link. So it's bit.ly/RS repurpose. And that will take you to repurpose.io. And so that is something, honestly, I found it on TikTok and I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So I can post a video, I can post a YouTube short, and I have programmed in there. Thank you. Perfect.
I got you covered.
So, yeah.
It was in our notes, so we're good.
I'm telling you, that is my video assistant for the most part, right? So I can post a short form video in there. I have automatic program workflows that says if I post it to YouTube Shorts, I want it to go to my Facebook business page, I wanted to go to my Instagram Reels, and I wanted to go to my TikTok or whatever. So you can control in there, and then you can say, will it automatically do that? Or do you want to come in and be able to edit those descriptions and hit publish? Do you want to, what frequency? Do you want to schedule those posts? You can do all that stuff. Is it a rabbit hole and a time suck? If you're not a type A person, you bet. But utilize that to, hey, I just want to extend my reach a little bit more. Right. And it's not free. I think it's like $250 a year or something like that, but that's a lot cheaper than my assistant, to be honest. So, and I have her go in, and honestly, I used her to streamline my YouTube postings as far as when I do long form YouTube content. I film it, I upload it directly from my phone. I have certain tags that I put in there so she knows what to do, because that was another time suck for me, was when I go to post, not only editing, but doing the tags, doing the SEO, doing the title, making the thumbnail. That would take me time. I have hired that out to get my life back. Mm-hmm. And honestly, she's so much faster at it. And then I just go take 10, 15 minutes, tweak a few things, cool, go post it. And now Repurpose will take it and put it on my LinkedIn and put it on my Facebook business page and put it all those other places I want it to be. So that's a huge tool that I use. It's not perfect, by any means, because algorithms change all the time and they have to tweak and change with it. So you have to go set some settings. It's not a set and forget it, but it's the closest thing I've found to really leverage my content and my time without a lot of personal energy.
I have it on my other screen, so I keep looking to the side to look at it to like read more about it. I think that's awesome. Didn't even know it existed. So thank you, because now
It's kind of this weird niche product. Yeah.
That I have not heard of, the repurpose. Smart.
I mean,
Honestly,
you can take long form
evergreen.
and like cut it into little stuff in that. I don't use it for that, but
got it. Yeah, no, that's absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. That I had not seen, and I don't think too many people have seen that one. I know most people are using video.ai, so that takes your long form content and splices it up, but it doesn't post it for you. Much like what you've got here, actually posts it for you, from what I read, and it helps semi-optimize it.
Yeah, for sure. So essentially, when I post short form, I post it in two places. I post it to YouTube Shorts directly from my phone. Because honestly, that's what YouTube wants you to do anyway. And that's the easiest upload process for me. And then I post it to my personal Facebook stories, and that will push it to my Instagram stories. And then Repurpose does the rest. It puts it on my Reels, it puts it on TikTok, it puts it on LinkedIn, it does everything else for me. So it really streamlines. I'm not sitting there having to post things in 6 different platforms to try to leverage this 30-second video that I shot.
Of course. No, I get that, because it is annoying though that YouTube Shorts makes you directly upload that video. I struggle with that daily.
Which is why I ran all my repurpose workflows off of that. Because if that's the one thing I have to do, they can push it out from there.
I love it. That's an awesome hack. Hey, anybody that is still on our call today, this is Q&A session. Let us know what you have. The reason why we do these live is because you get to ask us, do you want like special hacks? Do you have a preferred social media platform?
It depends on the purpose and the goal, right? So my personal preference, I spend more time on Facebook and TikTok than the others. I'm not big on TikTok. TikTok has its own strategy for reach. And so right now all I'm doing is I'm leveraging the content I'm already making. So I'm not strategizing to attract that audience. But I understand that platform, and I know it because I use it a lot. And then I'm on Facebook because that's how I keep in contact with my sphere. I'm not a big Instagram person. So I let Repurpose do my Instagram from that. I mean, I have to remember to go check my DMs, because if I have somebody who wants stuff, I'm like, oh crap, I got to go check this. But now that it goes into Facebook, I'm good. So it really just depends on what you use and like.
Yeah. And I have to say, like, to add on to that, understanding the algorithms for video, look, Facebook and Instagram favor videos heavily. Whereas I will say this, LinkedIn does not actually favor videos nearly as much as they do photos. So understand that each platform, as much as you're creating video content, some preferred over others. Obviously, I don't even have to say YouTube and TikTok prefer video because it's all that they have. Right. But understanding that those are probably your best bet. I personally am all on the YouTube game. Although the short side of things, I haven't seen as much growth in. I don't know.
It's interesting. Shorts has some strategies, and I'm doing some testing on my end. But honestly, if I'm going to shoot 2 types of videos for my short form, I try to keep it like 30 to 40 seconds. That's my goal. Definitely a minute or less, because a minute or less, I can do YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram stories, Facebook stories, everything, right? It can go on all my platforms if it's that duration, but 30 to 40 seconds has a pretty good duration as long as the content's valuable, you're not wasting their time. And then for my long forms, I shoot for like 7 to 12 minutes. Yeah. Those are the 2 types of videos that I shoot. They either fit in one of those buckets, or I probably don't bother with them. All right, we did get a quick editing question. So I know you mentioned your editing app. Go ahead and let which one am I using again? I use UCut, which honestly was pre-TikTok, but it's owned by the same people that own CapCut. And so it's like almost a mirror image, the apps. And that is the only thing I use to edit video, other than like if I'm doing a long form video in YouTube and I want to cut out a little section where I don't know, saw a shiny object and got distracted. And I'll use the direct YouTube editor there, but because I shoot everything from my phone. So having an app on my phone that even if I have to start shooting a video, stop it, finish shooting it, if I just need to put them together, I use the UCut app, but I know CapCut's really popular too. It's very similar, and they're free. Like there's a free version.
Yeah. So you cut, is that YOU or UCUT?
YOUCUT. And then I think it's the same as CapCut, to be honest. That's a really big one. CAPCUT. Yep. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah. So
Cool.
definitely that's a good one. My personal favorite, I mean, I still use, so what I'll do is I will create end screens on Canva.
Yep.
And what I will do is just download them to my phone. So I have 5 or 6 end screens, like for followers, like, hey, like and follow for more. For any videos that I just don't have, maybe not filled the full 30 seconds on, just give me an extra 5 seconds of just straight up follow. That's my personal thing.
Yep.
You don't have to do that, guys. It's something that I do so that I always have my like and follow at the very end, and I just have template. It's a quick edit that you can just grab, but I won't edit my shorts on there. It just doesn't make sense. I will use, actually I'll use all the native apps. So I'll use Instagram directly to do the edits because they have some really cool features in there. You just gotta be careful with
That's true.
the sound, because if you use a specific sound or specific music, they'll cut the sound completely out of your video. So they'll give
Yeah.
you when you download it, and you're like, looks like it's broken. So be very
Yeah.
careful.
And that's where it depends. If you're going to stick on one platform, if Insta is where you live, then just post natively because you're going to have better tools, you're going to have better sounds. But just realize if you want to leverage your content, then you probably have to do a little bit more manual manipulation with it to be able to use the same piece in lots of different places. So it really depends on the goal. Always start with your goal. Who are you trying to reach? And what platform do you know? And do you like and will actually use that does not feel like work? If it feels like work, you're not going to do it because no one's going to yell at you to do it.
That's very true. And everybody who's using AI to write your descriptions of your videos and everything like that, if you want a quick hack or something to think about when you are doing these, make sure that when you start writing them, if you copy and paste everything in, okay, stay on that page for a while. Do not instantly publish, do not instantly schedule it. So what people don't understand or don't know is that all those social media platforms are seeing how you're creating the descriptions of the content. Reason why they don't want duplicate content going across. They want original content. So if you are copy and pasting, take a couple minutes, stay on that page and act as if you were actually writing it out, and they'll favor you in the algorithms.
I
Weird
didn't know
little
that. Take that away.
yes, yes.
Cool.
And then for a long time, it's kind of changed over time. I don't know. Everybody's experiencing something different, but for a long time, posting through third-party stuff like what we used to use was Hootsuite, right? Everybody
Yeah, and
used to use Hootsuite.
repurpose is going to be just like that.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be, I mean, the platforms know whether you're posting through a third party.
Yeah.
And so that's why for me, if YouTube is where I live, YouTube and Facebook, those are my goals. That's my reach. I post natively to those and I have them push out from there, mostly from logistical convenience as well as, okay, so if it doesn't go as well on TikTok, I don't really care. I'm just on TikTok for fun anyway. And if I get something out of it, it's gravy.
The second part of that is scheduling posts versus live posting. 100% you will see a difference if you do a live post versus a scheduled post.
For sure.
So second big hack, if you're looking for quick hacks to get a little bit of extra views on those videos, those are two that I know of for sure that most people don't know of or don't listen to. So definitely.
That's true.
Those are fun. So any other questions? I didn't see any quickly pop up. I love it. Love hitting up all the questions. Stacie's been a rock star, everybody. So make sure to give her a quick little thank you. Calls to actions in posts. Ooh,
good question. I am getting better at that. So
this is a good one. I love it.
It is good because honestly, I posted YouTube videos for probably 4 or 5 years before I actually did like a good call to action in them. I was like, oh crap, I have 30,000 views on a video and I didn't tell people what to do. So yes, I definitely in my long form stuff, I'm always like, hey, down below, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, reach out to me. I have a different phone number that I put on all my YouTube videos. And I did that for scale. So, hey, when those, when I start getting more calls in, when that gets to the point where I can't handle it myself, it's an easy phone number for me to offload onto an assistant and have them take those appointments for me. So I built that with that in mind. I also have a Calendly link. I mean, Google Calendar has this now. If you have any sort of G Suite, you can set up appointment schedulers and have a link where people can pick it off your calendar. I did a whole class on this in my brokerage, because if you think about it, when you go to schedule a plumber or any sort of professional appointment, a doctor's appointment, you just want to go online, click, pick a window and go. You don't want to have to call somebody, wait for them to call you back. Now you got to play phone tag, see when my husband's available, like all this crap. Make it easy, remove the friction. So an appointment calendar, direct. I've had literally listing appointments pop up on my calendar. I got email. I was like, I have no idea who this person is. I call them, they're like, oh, I saw your staging bed YouTube video and I wanted you to come like talk to me about selling my house. I was like, cool.
Awesome.
Time and date is set, right? So make it easy for them, make it easy for yourself. Those are my two big calls to action. I do also have a referral form link, because a lot of my stuff goes to people not in the area. So I want to capture if they need a referral in another area, because it's supplemental income for me, right? If I can send those referrals out. So those are my three big calls to action on my YouTube videos. I don't put them on my short form because I do it more for the sphere touches like we talked about. I just want to be top of mind for the people that know me.
I love it. Yeah, that makes sense. That's what your short form, and I've seen it. That's what it's all for in that situation. And what's really cool, guys, is YouTube has actually changed their algorithm over time to allow these links to not hurt you. They used to. So maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, if you put a link on your YouTube description, you were already deemed like cut your video views,
like the kiss of death,
because it made them leave the platform.
Yeah.
And now they're like, no, they're providing more resources. It makes more sense. Like, we got to start allowing people to do links. So now it doesn't hurt you to put your link in and say, hey, if you want to reach out or learn more about this, my link is in the description, or you can, they used to always say in the bio. So you can always go to somebody's bio on the channel and figure that out too.
Cool. Good question. Any other questions? Ooh, what mic? I have some cheap, crappy lapel mics, and I didn't, or the lavalier mics. I bought a new one and I was just charging it up this morning, and I didn't want to test it out on this. I have a cheap, like Amazon stand mic. I don't even remember if I bought the stand separately. I'm talking $20, $30 mics. The lapel mic is the best thing. I can keep it in my purse. It has its own charging case. I can plug it into my phone and go. That would be my go-to now that most phones don't have a headphone jack anymore or an input jack. Is like a wireless lapel mic that goes into either your iPhone port or your USB-C port. Don't spend $100, 20, 30, it gets the point done. So
I completely agree. Spend 20, 30 bucks on it. I see a lot of people using their headphones. So they're using wireless headphones to do the same. Be careful when doing that. Even still, there is, as much as the sound is still pretty good, it's not as clean personally as the actual lapel mic. And to this point, another cool little thing about lapel mics, use them, because I've actually A/B tested to see what the viewership is or what the algorithms do versus what mic you use. And I will say the better your mic is, not necessarily, you don't have to spend $100 on a mic. I've done that too. Actually, what I have is the blue Knox mic.
Oh, you did the nice one. Yeah.
Yeah. These guys are almost $100 and they're very nice. And so, but in all honesty, the sound in the algorithms will actually just strictly still favor a lapel mic that's $30, just as strong as this. So think about it when you're in the field, especially lapel mics. Don't use the headsets. Actually, as good as they are, I would say if you don't have one, use the headsets as your next mode, because maybe you're on the go, you forgot to bring it today. Great. But whatever you do, don't actually use the microphone from your camera. I have tested it. It does not go well at all. They will downgrade videos.
It's not my preference. I won't let that keep me from shooting a video. If I don't have a mic, I'm still going to shoot it as long as it's not gobbledygook. Now I've gone on Fiverr and I've paid someone to clean up the audio before. Like, damn, that was a really good video, but the audio was terrible, right? So go pay somebody, $10, $20 to go clean up the audio. But for the earbuds, for women with hair, if it will sit there and scuff against the mic.
I didn't think about that.
And that's a big thing. Like if you've got the earbuds or even on the cord mic and stuff. So yeah, the lapel or lavalier mic's the way to go on that.
Yes.
85% and done, guys. Don't buy the fancy stuff. Just get close enough and it's better than most. And when you want to spend a bunch of money, because you've made a bunch of money, go reinvest.
Yes. Cool.
Good questions. What else?
Actually, we're going to go ahead and conclude it.
Okay.
Stacie, thank you so much for joining us today on our webinar on video marketing. This has been super, super insightful. We're getting a ton of great comments. I mean, like the two of us are actually getting panelist comments the entire time about how very useful this was. I think we went through, setting your goals. And I love that you went through all 4 types of goals and how you should, think about that when you're creating your content. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.